Well, hello everybody, welcome to your Language Teaching and Learning channel. My name is Santiago, and this week we're taking a little break from the shop talk still, and we're going to continue talking about music. If you're new to the channel, we talk about language teaching and learning, and a couple of videos ago we've talked about speaking, how to improve and how to practice. So that we're taking a little break now so you can apply whatever we talked about, and we talk about music now. And if you like the videos, make sure you like it and subscribe. Welcome to the faithful watchers every week, and welcome to Luis Velasco, who joined last week. I hope you really get to enjoy the videos. A couple of things happened this week. The first one is Led Zeppelin was, imagine how long they were being sued by a group called Spirit, because they were accusing them of having plagiarized the song, their most famous song, one of the most famous songs from Led Zeppelin, which is Stairway to Heaven. And Spirit has a song called Taurus, and they say that Led Zeppelin plagiarized Stairway to Heaven from Taurus, the introduction. So listen to the songs, and I'll leave it up to you to decide what the reality is, but in court it was decided that Led Zeppelin actually hadn't plagiarized. But imagine how long it's been. The song came out in the 70s, and now we're in 2020, so it's been quite a while in the courts. But that's one of the things. The other thing, a couple of other things, we had Johnny Nash passed away. He is the singer of I Can See Clearly Now the Rain Is Gone. I'm sure you've heard that song. He passed away. And I'm sure, of course, you've heard, unfortunately, Mr. Ellie Van Halen also passed away this week. Unfortunately, he was, of course, from Ellie Van Halen. We mentioned the group and him specifically in a couple of videos. His guitar playing was just master. You know, he was a master in the guitar. Listen to Eruption. Watch a couple of the old videos when he started playing the keyboards and stuff. You know, like Jump, Panama. And at the time, David Lee Roth was also in the group, and then later he left. We'll talk about him in a minute, and Mr. Hager joined, but you know, it's too bad that he left. His first wife was Valerie Bertinelli. She was in a show called One Day at a Time back then. Remember, we talked about shows from the time. This was a sitcom, and I remember I used to watch that show, and she was, I liked her. She was a really nice girl there. And I was heartbroken when I heard that she had gotten married. But when I heard she married Eddie Van Halen, I was, you know, I said, okay, that's cool then. But anyway, there were other sitcoms going on at the time. For example, the Brady Bunch. I didn't mention another music program, which was the Partridge Family, okay, which was a very interesting program there. Okay, in the case of disco, I forgot to mention also Mr. Patrick Hernandez with his nice song, Born to Be Alive. In the case of David Lee Roth, who was in Van Halen, when he left Van Halen to start his solo career, he did a song called Just a Gigolo. I'm Just a Gigolo. Watch the video, because in that video you can see what was happening at the time, the different groups, music groups, and we'll talk about some music groups today, that were hits at the time. And remember, I also mentioned that there was a board who decided what goes in the movies, what is taken out of the movies, videos, music, you know, what songs go in the air, and you know, which words should or lyrics should be eliminated, and so on. He actually makes fun of part of the board in his video, so I recommend you watch it, okay? And I'm sorry, like I said, I probably won't be able to mention everybody, and you know, names come to mind, people I hadn't mentioned. We talked about women playing an important part in music, and for example, Carly Simon, which I didn't mention, the Wilson sisters from Heart. Later on came the Go-Go's. You also have the Pretenders with Chrissie Hynde, Fleetwood Mac. So excellent contributions, obviously very talented ladies there. And also a lot of ladies from other genres, for example, Dolly Parton, okay, and Crystal Gayle. Can't mention them all. Anyway, let's start with the music then. From the time, my collection here. AC/DC. Remember I told you back then a musician was limited by the length of the cord from the guitar to the amp. The first concert that I saw with wireless was AC/DC. When they had the song Hell's Bells, and for those about to rock, excellent songs. And I went to the concert. It was in the winter and it was in a closed stadium, Maple Leaf Gardens. I think that was on Queen Street and Yonge. I can't remember very sure, in Toronto. But anyway, it was great because once the first group left, you know, you had a little break and then the lights went off. And then in the middle of the stage, this huge phosphorescent bell just slowly came down, and then you saw, you know, somebody come and bong, the way the Hell's Bell starts. And then Mr. Young came out from the side, you know, and doing the lead and stuff. Oh, it was fantastic. And it was even better because, like I said, that was the first concert that I attended in which they didn't plug their guitars. They were using their transmitters. Near the end of the show, Mr. Young was doing the lead and he kind of disappeared into the back of the stage. So everybody thought, okay, the show is over. But no, he actually went to the back of the stage and he came out and people carried him on their shoulders. He continued doing the lead, amazing, and they carried him all around the stadium there, and he went back and continued playing. And it was just so great to see so much freedom in the musicians not to be able to plug the guitar and using transmitters, right? So that was AC/DC. And then of course, let's continue. You have the Animals, excellent album here, Before We Were So Rudely Interrupted. Not the regular, you know, like The House of the Rising Sun. They actually have some really good songs here, blues and stuff. America, obviously, excellent. Horse with No Name is an example. The Bee Gees, remember I told you they started into rock and pop, and then they went into disco. This is the middle right there, right? I hope you listen to Nights on Broadway. Billy Idol, of course. Billy Joel, one of his first excellent albums here. Billy Squire. And then, of course, we cannot forget Black Sabbath, and Halloween is coming up, so beautiful picture of Black Sabbath there, and the songs are just excellent. Okay, Paranoid, another excellent album there. Remember I mentioned the Blues Brothers. I hope you get to watch the movie. It's an excellent movie, and like I said, there are a lot of excellent musicians there, Aretha Franklin, and a whole bunch of them. So please make sure you watch that movie, very interesting. Mentioned Bob Dylan, of course, oops, something fell there. And remember, he got the Nobel Peace Prize after so many years because of what he did, the lyrics and the songs and that he wrote, of course. And then we get into Bob Marley, remember, reggae. And remember I mentioned in one of the videos, one of the first videos, listen to his song War, which is a poem, remember? And he changed it turned it into music. Fantastic song, okay? Then we get into, of course, Boston. And this was amazing because obviously they were supposed to be living on the spaceship and traveling and so on, right? Remember I mentioned the distortion that they had, right? And of course, then they came with the second album. Oops, I hope I don't drop everything here. Okay, then of course we have obviously the boss, Bruce Springsteen, right? Boss Cog, and then I mentioned also the Carpenters. Remember, they were really famous at the time too. Okay, then of course we get into the Cars, okay, and then Cheap Trick. Okay, this is an excellent album also, and Gonna Raise Hell, I like that song there. And then we get into Chris de Burgh, Spanish Train and Other Stories. Please check that album, it's really nice, very good music there. Culture Club, Dan Hill, Longer Fuse, Sometimes When We Touch, excellent song. And then of course we get into, excuse me here, okay, Depeche Mode, okay, and of course Just Can't Get Enough, their famous song there, and The Doors, okay. And remember I mentioned in the time he passed away too, making part of the 27 Club. The song Gloria, listen to it, fantastic song, okay. And then we get into the Eagles. Now remember we mentioned Linda Ronstadt. The Eagles had actually played backup for her. So it was very interesting, right? And this is one of, before Hotel California, one of their most famous songs, right? Very nice ballads and also some rock there. And then of course we get into ELO, right? And they were also supposed to be living in this spaceship here. And this is the inside of the spaceship. And in this album, a double album, out of the blue, right? Excellent music, Mr. Blue Sky and everything. They also had, there was a little spaceship that came with it. So you put the spaceship together, and I did that, and you can see this is the inside of the album here that I took the picture. I put the spaceship there and I added lights to it. Okay, so very interesting. They were the first group in the early 70s to use lasers. Now these lasers were not so common back then, but they were the first group. When they did the concert, people who went there were like amazed, because it was the first time that they were seeing lasers in a concert. Okay, well, we're out of time, and we'll continue next week with the rest of the groups. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I look forward to you joining me next week. Have a really good week. Take care of yourselves.